said this as we watched this good play. I was talking to Chris Medlin quite a bit after his surgery, and he was saying he was going to have to perhaps change some of his mechanics. And he said especially the way he tries to fly open to get the ball down and in, or down and away to right-handers, to that quadrant. And it came to mind talking to Greg Maddux. He didn't change anything. And I don't think you did either. The delivery, the stride, the step was all the same, but as far as Greg was concerned, he changed it with grip and finger pressure.
Yeah, it's funny. I saw Chris this weekend, and we had that very same discussion. And you know, I know you're right. I think at least
fly ball to right by Solano. That's pretty well hit. Hayward's paying for the throw. So he makes.
He got a little bit lazy with his mechanics, kind of going down and away to a right-handed hitter. Like he would, like you talked about, fly a little bit, his arm would drag, but then he could kind of flip the ball over there and get it there. And, you know, and I guess I went through similar stuff too from the other side of the rubber, because I was on the far third base side, threw across my body, sinker, changeup. He's on the other side, throwing across his body, sinker, changeup. And, you know, one of the things that I changed later in my career, we talked about, was I got to a point where I felt like I understood my mechanics well enough that I could start messing with where I was landing, you know. And while I knew where I wanted to land to throw it down and away to a right-handed hitter, when I then wanted to start throwing the ball down and away to a lefty and start getting a little bit more movement, not quite like Greg could do, but I could get a little sink. I started learning how to, if I stepped more towards that side of the plate, I could still get out over my front leg and get that sink and not feel like I was going across, throwing across my front foot, and then having to bring the ball back.
Having to pull it back.
Having to pull it back on the other side of the plate. I could do it, but I couldn't get any movement out of it.
Bouncing ball to Echeverria at short. And on the throw is handled by Jones, out number 1.
And I think where it really helped me and made a big difference for me was, again, later in my career, when I started throwing changeups inside to right-handed hitters, that I could really get going in that direction, but I could get the movement to where I could start it off the plate and bring it back on the plate. For whatever reason, I couldn't do it with my two-seamer. I don't know, it was just because of the velocity or what it was, but it really helped me with my changeup. And I think that's, you know, that's one of the things that I talked to Chris about. I said, you know, you're good enough with your mechanics, you understand your mechanics well enough that, you know, certainly is something you could think about.